All right, let's
Não
get
é?
started.
Ok.
Joseph,
Good.
sorry, I forgot that there are someone that don't speak
Are we
Portuguese.
ready?
No, you are talking about the difference between the Portuguese that we speak. People that speak Portuguese in Portugal,
Good.
it's kind of Portuguese. Speak
Yes.
Portuguese from Brazil. It's totally different.
Good.
This is that we are talking.
Good.
Sorry.
Senhoras e senhores, muito boa tarde. Seja bem-vindos ao nosso webinar Destino aos Falantes da Língua Portuguesa.
Muito obrigado.
Muito bem. Thank you. Obrigada.
E para nos honrar poder vos receba no AIBA e no DEV 17. O nosso objetivo é criar uma rede global de pessoas de boa vontade que emprestem.
I understood. More in English than in Portuguese.
Am I communicating?
Yes.
Yep.
Ok.
Regina,
Am I
are you a
communicating?
writer?
Sim,
Are you
Luzia.
understanding?
Yes,
And,
Joseph,
it's a
we can
fiction?
understand you.
Nesta semana da paz, sob lema de nossa fundadora e mentora, Janice da Silva.
Yes.
A paz só existe se ela começar comigo e contigo.
Sim.
Go to...
I hope you're understanding me.
Yes, I
We are
understood.
understanding you.
I prefer you speak in English, really. So, Regina, you write your writing is fiction? What is about?
Enfim, percebo e falo alguma coisa de inglês. Aliás, é a minha obrigação, mas pedia a compreensão para falar em português.
Ótimo. Não,
exatamente porque esta língua representa um mundo global, vários países nos diferentes continentes que falam oficialmente, chamemos-lhe assim, português, sobretudo os países africanos. E como eu sou luso-angolana, tenho as duas nacionalidades, pedia para falar em português, se precisarem que diga alguma coisa em inglês, eu também tento. Vivi muitos anos na Alemanha e o alemão sobrepõe-se muitas vezes ao inglês. Enfim, o que é que eu escrevo? Eu não sou escritora, eu digo que, enfim, publiquei umas coisas. Eu fui professora do ensino secundário em Angola, em Portugal, na Alemanha e escrevi, publiquei 5 livros até agora, 2 de ficção, portanto prosa, e 2 e 3 de poesia. O último foi o mais recente, foi lançado a 31 de julho, agora, na sede da UCLA, que é a União das Cidades Capitais da África, sobretudo, de língua portuguesa, e tem esta capa, não sei se conseguem ver. O livro chama-se Conjugação de Mapas.
A capa é linda.
Eu também gosto muito da pintura original de uma grande amiga angolana, uma pintora maravilhosa, Armanda Alves, a quem eu agradeço que esta capa ficou também, acho, lindíssima, com as cores que conjugam os mapas. E os mapas que neste caso têm que ver com aquilo que sinto que é uma cartografia dos lugares, porque têm rostos, porque têm gente que respira, que vive. E o viver sofre, portanto, o viver naturalmente aponta para o sofrimento também, e muito, sobretudo neste caso, dos países que se tornaram independentes há 40 e tal anos, portanto, do poder administrador português colonial. Eu vivi o tempo da guerra colonial, portanto...
I want to hand us over to the moderator.
Eu julgava que a moderadora era a Luzia, que hoje era em língua portuguesa, por isso eu peço desculpa. Preparei-me para isso.
Não se preocupe, que quando for preciso eu explico para ele em inglês, né?
Não, eu também posso dizer resumidamente, mas assim atrasa um bocado, digamos.
Joseph?
Yes, I can hear
you
you.
Understood what she said, what she was explaining. She was showing her recent book that called the map, something map that I could not get in. And she writes books, and she was teacher, and she was adult when the colonial war against Portugal, against the colony of Angola, where she's born. She was born in Angola. So?
I was not born in Angola because, so I came with my mother through the ocean from Angola to Portugal, but not born yet. Then I was born in Portugal, and I was 8 months then old as I went back to Angola with my mother because my father went there. So, but I lived there for fast all the time. When I was a child and a young girl, and I studied also there. Then I came to the university in Lisbon, but I lived and experienced the colonial war in Angola too, and then, unfortunately, the civil war. So this is the problem. I can understand. So for me, the word peace is very, very, very,
All the pictures.
I wouldn't like to say important, because important, of course, it is for everybody, but it's in my life because I experienced 2 ways the war. First, colonial war, and then civil war. It is the worst. War is always war. But, okay. So then I had this experience, and as a teacher, of course, I had always to deal with conflicts. So school is the place where conflicts are the everyday situation. And then I experienced school in Angola as a teacher too, before the independence, and already with civil war. So it was a very awful experience. And then in Germany, with different kind of students coming from all parts of the world who wanted to study Portuguese and the Portuguese culture and literature.
Yeah.
So very many conflicts. Okay, but I'm not wanting to lead this.
Regina, just
I stop.
No, it's okay. Just so I see that you can speak English enough to communicate your ideas.
Yes, but it's a pity not to speak in Portuguese today, because I had, for example, 2 poems from Portuguese and Mozambican poets to read. It is about this kind of problematic or thematic we are talking about today. But okay, no problem.
No, I really was not, had no idea what language you speak, because for me it's English. My first language is Portuguese, the language that I know very well. It's my language. It's my country.
Yes.
But I speak French as I speak Portuguese.
Uh-huh.
I speak some English enough to communicate. I'm not a great speaker in English, but I speak to communicate with people that speak English. But you can decide when everybody's here what you do with people that don't speak English or French. I think maybe someone, I don't know if there are someone that speak French here, but you can ask what you can do, decide what you can do for everybody, understand one shoulder. No? It's easy, but I think if there are majority that speak Portuguese, but you need to think about the minority also. So
yeah, but the Portuguese language, it's not minority. No? So see Brazil, watch so many people speaking Portuguese in the world, all right? I think 220 million people speaking Portuguese in the world. It must be a very, very important language, I think. Okay, Brazil, I can speak German. I can understand good. Okay.
Okay, Brazil is 200 million.
You see, then 20 million more from Angola, Portugal, Mozambique, and so. Guiné-Bissau, Cabo Verde, São Tomé. Okay.
And Macau also.
Yeah, Timor.
So it's okay, but anyway, but you not speak, you not teach them, the other that don't speak Portuguese, not teach them now. So you find a way to make them understand everything.
Okay.
Because I think that naturally you speak in Portuguese, but you need to make them understand. You know? Because if for me, I will speak Portuguese all the time, all over the world. But I know this is a characteristic, imperialist characteristic. So when I went once to Italy, I am journalist. I went to Italy and walked there. I passed all flights, about 10 hours, with a dictionary of Italian, learning all the dictionary, not the verb like I did, no, all the verb in the infinitive. Comer,
yeah.
But to understand something in Italian.
Yeah, of course. Communication comes first. Yeah.
Thereafter, I interviewed the Cardinal Casaroli from the Vatican, and he said, "Where did you learn Italian?" I said, "In the plane."
So how many of us will be here?
I see the camera here, but
because when you're this is eight, it's supposed to be 8.
Okay. There, perfect. Perfect. Okay, thank you. But I can just see one by one. I don't see everybody. I want to see everybody. So, but I cannot see everybody.
I don't know what to do with this.
Me too. I don't know, sir. So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
No, because I cannot see everybody at the same time. It's bothering me, and my husband tried to fix, and they don't know how to do. I want to see everybody at the same time. I don't know what's happening with my. Eu não sei o que está acontecendo com a minha tela. Eu não consigo
ver toda a gente.
Eu vejo a Luzia e vejo o Helder Marto e o Joseph.
Yeah, sim.
Exato.
Pronto.
Eu só vejo um de cada vez. Eu estou vendo você, aí quando o outro fala, eu vejo o outro, depois eu vejo o outro.
Bom, eu, como sou burrinha com estas coisas, mas estou a conseguir vê-los todos.
Não, mas o pior é que meu marido é especialista Ele não conseguiu. Talvez seja o meu computador que esteja com problema, não sei. Talvez eu tenha que trocar de computador. Né?
Are you in Brazil now?
Não, estou na cidade de Kissimmee, Flórida, onde eu moro. Eu moro aqui há 18 anos.
Posso tentar ajudar, talvez.
E o Helder está onde?
Eu estou em Fátima.
Que lindo! Ai, gosto desse apelido, já estou a perceber tudo.
Estou em Fátima, Portugal.
Muito bem, ai que bom.
Estava-lhe a dizer que no canto superior direito tem exibição de orador, exibição de galeria e talvez aí consiga modificar a forma como visualiza o grupo. No seu canto superior direito.
Elder start to try to explain me how to see everybody, but he said that in the corner left.
No, right corner.
Right.
I think you need to log out.
Right upper corner.
Are you using a desktop or you are using a mobile?
I use my desktop.
Desktop.
Yes, okay. I have my mobile here in the case if I need. Okay. And I have another computer because this house has about 4 computers, so it's crazy. But I have all the.
Right corner. Go to the right corner if you are using a desktop. The right corner.
Right corner? No.
Yes.
I think there's something called log back in.
You do this, I will see them there. Okay. I will change the computer, my husband will fix mine.
I have no volume over here.
Can you put volume?
I could try.
I have all, yeah, no, just put the volume in to talk to you in the other computer. No, here you have an excess of device. Okay?
Okay. Helder Marto, estava eu aqui toda preparadinha para começar com a Cantata da Paz, da Sofia de Mel Brainer, e explicar como é que isto foi, como é que apareceu pela primeira vez.
Sim.
Mas
poderá fazê-lo na mesma, penso eu.
Sim, mas não tem graça porque estarmos a traduzir cada coisa que se diz não tem piada nenhuma, quer dizer. Ainda por cima eu já quase não sei inglês, o alemão tapa-me tudo, eu aliás ando há que tempos sem falar quase.
Você conta em português e a gente tenta
ajudar em inglês.
Passar para o inglês.
Sim, também posso tentar, mas isso é muito aborrecido, torna-se muito chato, digo eu.
Agora temos mais alguém a entrar? Não.
Acho que sim. Ou pelo menos está tentando.
O Frank...
Há aqui um Frank, mas se calhar só está a ouvir. Como eu fiz da primeira vez para saber como é que se entrava nisto, porque isto é a minha primeira vez. Eu aliás, tenho sido convidada até para dizer poemas, não sei o quê, e falar do meu livro para grupos de amigos que têm feito imensas coisas, que agora é tudo feito assim, não é? Eu disse sempre que não, porque esta coisa de estar a falar e a ver-vos assim é muito bom, mas falta-me
físico,
a respiração. É fundamental. Sim. Sobretudo eu que vivo muito isolada e sou muito bicho do mato no dia a dia, portanto quando há qualquer coisa falta-me esse calor humano, mas está a ser agradável.
Estamos a habituar a esta nova forma de ser e de estar.
É horrível.
Regina, você mora só?
Sozíssima. Olha, meu marido fez 1 ano agora em setembro que morreu. Eu estive 4 anos a ser cuidadora a tempo inteiro. Foi uma situação tremenda. Ele era cabo-verdiano. Portanto, eu vivo assim num triângulo. Começo logo por ter um triângulo de afetos alargado entre Portugal, Angola e Cabo Verde. Por família, etc. E vivência.
Que beleza!
E depois habituei-me a andar aí pelo mundo e olhar para tudo como se... Pronto. Mas, sim, e portanto, e o meu filho está na Dinamarca, porque Portugal, enfim, ele é geógrafo e empregos não há. E, portanto, o rapaz andava aí, esteve na Líbia, andou por aí pelos mundos e agora está na Dinamarca e está felizmente bem, em termos laborais e humanos, enfim, pelo menos com saúde até agora, que é importantíssimo. E, portanto, eu estou muito sozinha e estou ainda por cima, vivo num sítio longe de tudo e todos. De modo que vivo com uns passarinhos que me visitam todos os dias aqui à varanda e um é deficiente e eu alimento-o ali todos os dias, tem uma patinha aleijada. Enfim, pronto. Joseph, I'm so sorry because I'm talking in Portuguese. I was
Okay, I'm
sorry,
learning.
sorry.
I'm learning. Hopefully, after now, I have to get to school so I can learn.
You must learn Portuguese. You're from Nigeria, right?
Yes, correct. Lagos, Nigeria.
Nigeria, because I took
Joseph.
that last time. I
Joseph.
listened to you very attentively, and I liked it very much. Yes.
Joseph, besides English, what's the language that you speak in your country besides English? What's
Yoruba.
the natural Yoruba?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You have people in Haiti here, close to the United States, that speak Yoruba. And in Bahia, Brazil, Bahia, you have some small community that they have a lot of expressions in Yoruba because they were slaves, the family, come as slaves, no? But Haiti, they have a lot of people that speaks Yoruba, and they speak another language also. That is funny because it's a language, religious language, and only people that it's like the priest of their religion, the voodoo, it speak that language. I love Haiti. It's my Brazilian. They sing close for Brazil for me. It's Haiti, and I love to go there. It's a country that I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I go there when I want to hear music, Brazilian music. I go to Haiti. But you live almost in 3 countries, no? Cabo Verde.
I didn't live in Cabo Verde. I visited
Yes. Yeah, but you travel
most of the time. But for example, in cultural activity, I have now since 2009, 2010, when I came back from Germany, from Hamburg, where I lived first 20 years and taught over there. I have worked till now culturally with Cape Verdean cultural associations in Lisbon, and we do many activities, theater, concerts, poetry, and so on, from Cape Verde and from the other countries, Portuguese-speaking countries. Brazil, Portugal, Angola, Cape Verde, and so on. But mostly Cape Verde. I've worked very, very close to people from Cape Verde in Lisbon. Not only because my husband was Cape Verdean from São Vicente, but also because already as a child, I had a family, a cousin was born from a Cape Verdean serviceal and lived with us at home and taught me Crioulo, so the Cape Verdean language in Angola already. And so my love to Cape Verdean culture and people and comes already from my childhood. Let's go to Elder Marto. Is there so silent, so nice to see him.
I can hear you.
Oh,
You
God.
like to speak with the stones.
No, I will speak with living beings also because I'm also a biologist.
Oh,
I'm a teacher in Portugal. I teach here nearby in Miradouro. It's famous by their caves. But I live in Fatima, and I have some links to Cape Verde also.
oh,
Because when I was in Coimbra, that's over that portrayal.
that's the reason why I asked, where are you? Because I thought, this is Coimbra.
Yes, this is
And
Coimbra.
Mondego.
I
My
studied
family
there.
comes from Viseu. That's not so far away from
I
Coimbra.
studied there, and one of my house friends was from Cape Verde, and I have
I see.
also a link to Cape Verde, and I like it very much.
Yeah.
Cabo Verde. I know just Sal. Only Cabo Verde.
There is a poet in Cabo Verde, Jorge Barbosa, who wrote many books, but one of them, once he said, Cabo Verde é brasilinho. It's a small Brazil. Because Cabo Verde has many, what is the antonym from difference? Many similarities with Brazil.
Yes.
It comes from, of course, the slavery times and so on.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't think that people from Cabo Verde was slavery, because the slaves that come from Brazil, the blacks that come to Brazil as a slave, they come more from the Gabon.
But
the root passes.
Yeah.
Would pass
in
to Cape Verde
and in near, of course.
Yeah.
And
No, oh my gosh, I forgot the name of the
Cabo Verde was very, very linked to Brazil.
Yes.
So to go by boat, by ship, right, to Brazil, it was through Cabo Verde.
Yes.
Because I forgot to write the name for it's a big kingdom that they steal the blacks to take to slave, and the same blacks that went to Brazil, when they start to rebel against the slavery, they come to Cuba and the Antilles, the Netherlands Antilles, that Aruba, Curaçao, Bonaire, and some to 80. So I could when Cuba has even same families that was broke when in the time of the slavery, they broke. Send the father for one side, grandmother for the other, the son for the other. You have the family that was in Cuba and Bahia, Brazil, and the people that 80 also. So you have, and I'm sure that when they start to create these states in Central America, because states are created by, I cannot say, states created by these slaves that don't accept. They fight for the freedom. Some of them, they take the Amazonas River, Tapajós River in Brazil, that all Tapajós, it's cross the city of Santarém, Pará, and they take very close to go to the ocean of Tapajós, and they migrate to Caribbean, and they create these states. 80 Cuba and the Antilles. And it's funny because in Antilles, I was in Aruba, and I had a language that I said, gosh, why I understand this language? It was a mix of Dutch,
and
Portuguese, Spanish, and English. They call papiamento, the language. It was perfect for me because I could. And I bought a newspaper, and I said, my gosh, this is Portuguese. Caiu o governador. So, but And these families from the kingdom, it was, oh my gosh, was
Little bird is there.
they are in Brazil. It's amazing. But if you go to Bahia, some place in Bahia, they maintain the habits of the court of the kings of the blacks there, and the carnival. The carnival, it's amazing. If you just see carnival as a part, no, this is a celebration of the kingdom, African kingdom from the countries that they come. And the king, my daughter, she went to Africa 2 years ago, 4 years ago, and she was in shock because all the rituals in this small kingdom that she went there said, "Mom, it's like carnival. It's the same behavior, like the same rituals that you see in carnival." Yes, it's amazing. I see this in Central America, and this is small island, exactly the same that you see in Bahia and you see in Maranhão. I like to see this because it's in my roots, so I like to see.
We had a route that came from not the north part of Africa through Cape Verde, then to Brazil. Probably not all of them, but
no, I'm sure that Cabo Verde.
The route.
I'm sure that Cabo Verde was like a port to transit.
Yes, yes.
And some maybe escape.
Yes.
Yeah, it's natural. Because you have 3 states in Brazil that it's very strong, the influence of the culture from the country in Africa, that it's Maranhão, that's the closest state, close to Portugal, it's Maranhão. Then you have Pernambuco, Bahia, and Rio de Janeiro. It's the culture. It's amazing that you can find in a lot of countries in Africa. I don't know so many countries in Africa, but I know South Africa, Mozambique, and other, and Cabo Verde, and Angola. I just passed. And my uncle, he was in Angola. He made the guerrilla in Angola with the MPLA. My uncle was there. He was 50 years old and he was there with the guerrilleiros. And I know a little Angola. No? I went there, but not so much. Mozambique, I know better. When I went to South Africa, I went to Mozambique also. I like to travel in South Africa.
When I was a child, there was a big, como é que se diz cartaz em inglês? Que horror. Panel? Billboard, a panel, I don't know. In Luanda, pointing to Rio de Janeiro. And it was written there, o Brasil é já ali, with a finger pointing to Brazil. So Brazil is already there, it's too near to Angola. Also in these slavery times, right? Because Angola was a very close to Brazil, with serving the king with slaves from the African coast, also from Angola to Brazil, and because of course it was not so far away. Yes. And I have always this big billboard, this big panel on my mind. Brazil is there.
Just there.
It's very near. It's close to us.
It was a propaganda of airline or something?
It was from Sabena. It was the Belgian airline. O Brasil é já ali.
Because we had one in Rio de Janeiro saying, Tóquio is just there.
It was from Sabena, from Belgium, and one of them, there was o Brasil é já ali, or o rio é já ali. And so because Angolans and Brazilian people, so when Angola gained its independence, the Brazilians were the first, let's say, to cooperate with Angola. I was there for 3 times in between 98 and 89, and 92, because I participated in the first multi-particular assembly of Angola. But it was, for me, a very sad participation, because politics, oh my God, it's always the same, has not to do with the color of the skin. So colonial power was bad, and then, my God, see what happens in all Africa. That's my sadness. And then I went away, so I went to Germany, and of course, when I write and when I live, Angola is there. But I couldn't live in and be silent, so I would be dead now.
Nasser, the
Egyptian
of Egypt,
that
fight for the freedom from Egypt, from England. He has a quote that say, "Silence, it's a complice with the empire."
Yeah,
I like this.
I couldn't, but oh yeah. So word is a very powerful arm. The word.
This
For
is one
the
of the
good
books that
and
I'm
for the
reading
bad.
right now.
For the good and for the bad. Oh,
This
Pepetela from Angola, this generation of utopia, yeah.
Yes.
I know the book, and I know the person too.
It's amazing because I'm reading, I never read just one book. I read like 4 or 5.
So
and
many.
by coincidence, I was reading this and I start to read the one that's called Charlestonville, that's about the independence of United States from England. It's the same kind of structure they fight. You know? There are someone that try to, you cannot see, but called Magna Gandhi.
Magna Gandhi.
Yeah, Magna
Maybe
Gandhi.
is only listening. So I did it on the first meeting, because this is the reason why I say I listened attentively to Joseph Akinola, because I wanted to learn how to participate in this kind of meetings. I mean, virtually, to prepare me for today. But Janice told me today it would be in Portuguese language. So that's the reason why I had a part of poems from Mozambique and so about this theme, about peace. But they are in Portuguese, and then to translate them is not, it's fastidious.
If it's not in Greek, it's perfect, because Greek, because the other language you can try, but Greek, I just know to read.
Yeah.
And now I am starting to learn Hungarian. That is something. I think I go at 8 years old and I will not learn to speak Hungarian. 5 years studying, more than 5 years studying Hungarian, and because I like languages, I study a lot. I can speak some.
Joseph, can I ask you, how many of us would be expected to be here?
36.
Yeah, about 6. Yeah, about to be 6, 7.
7?
But I think we can continue.
Yes.
7. So, yeah, Madam Janice is unavoidably absent. She will join us later, probably. Yeah, that's plus minus.
I don't know if
we just have to start.
She asked me.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
she asked me to give her regards to every one of us and to excuse her for not to be present, but she had a last minute problem to solve, and I hope she will get here later on. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Who? Sorry, who?
Janice, Madam Janice.
Ah, Janice. Ah, okay.
I suggest we continue. We continue and let's deliver our speeches from various angles of the title of the topic for today and
Okay.
round up so that
we should start from the topic. So
yes,
Lucia,
right away. Yes.
you are moderating the group, yes?
Lucia is the moderator for today.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but you can start to talk about the subject. Now you wait a little more. It's almost 1 hour that I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's almost 1 hour in 5 minutes. And what you do? You wait talking about what you are talking, or you
do we start?
Well, you decide. I am just moderator. I cannot vote.
Okay. All right. The program before us is Peace Starts With You and I.
Yes.
One thing I need us to know, peace needs to be personal before it becomes general. So for us to experience peace in our community, in fact, beginning from our home, various homes, for us to experience peace, beginning from our various homes, we need to make peace personal. Then that's when we will now start experiencing and enjoying peace in our community, in our country, and in the world at large. On this note, I welcome you all to today's webinar. I need us to discuss as regards peace and how it relates to peace building while we are celebrating in advance International Peace Day. On this note, I welcome to the stage Madam Lucia, Helda Mato, Madam Regina, let's get started. Over to you. Please, I'd like us to make it short, maybe not more than maybe 10 minutes per participant. Let's get to it. All right. Thank you.
Can you start, Elder?
Thank you.
I'm from a city that is called the City
Just a
of Peace.
moment. Just a moment. Joseph, do you have a translator in your computer, in the screen?
I don't have.
Oh, okay. So you can speak in English or Portuguese, then we can translate as you wish.
So I can speak in English with some errors probably, but I came from a city that's the City of Peace, and like Regina said a while ago.
Not listening now.
So sorry.
Oh, okay.
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 And conflict is our job, our everyday job as a teacher. Also, I worked at a program, at a governmental program that was in place 10 years ago, and that had the objective to reduce child work and child exploitation here in Portugal, and of course, that's also a place of conflict, of many conflicts between families, schools, and so on. So conflict, working around conflict was my main work, and still is my main work. And I think the reason that conflict exists is because we focus on the differences and not in what makes us equal. And when we focus on the differences, conflict will always rise. And my suggestion is to do the opposite, to focus on what makes us equal, what makes us together, and how we can work together apart from the color of our skin, apart from our religions, apart from everything else. What can we do to work together and achieve peace? And I think education, it's probably the best tool to make it. because as I said earlier in our previous talk, there is some pre-programmed nature of human beings to spot differences. Even the youngest ones spot the differences, the slightest difference that every one of us has. And so education has that power to work around those differences and to highlight not the differences, but what make us humans. And I think that's the beauty of all of that. I have my first training was biology, and in biology I have a word that I like a lot, that it's homeostasis. Homeostasis, it's equilibrium, and peace is equilibrium. Okay, when we achieve equilibrium, we achieve peace. And like in our body, whenever we are out of equilibrium, we hurt ourselves, we have pain. If we are very thirsty, we have pain. If you are very angry, we have pain. And pain is always out of equilibrium. And war, I think, is that it's when we get out of equilibrium. So that's one of the things that I think is the most important. So I always think about peace of a triangle that in its corners have education, money, and infrastructures. That there are three things that always are in fighting for the attention, and I think we need all of them to get peace. It's very easier to have peace when there is money, not much money, but when there is money for all. It's easier to have peace when we have infrastructures, when we have health, when we have schools, when we have roads, when we have electricity. And I think it's also easy when we have education. And I think we should think about those three pillars of peace. Of course, there is another one, culture. And culture, it's what makes us different, but it should be also what makes us human. And so I think peace will have to have those elements all together and work all together. Fatima was a place it's a symbol of Catholic religion, but it's also a place of ecumenism, where John Paul II had the idea to bring all the religions together. Also Pope Francis has that idea, and I think peace will have to work that out, to work how all the religions could be together, respect one another, and make it not a place of difference, but a place of joining together. And that's what I think about right now, and I'm hopeful to hear about your thoughts. Okay?
And you, Regina.
E o quê? So I agree. No, I agree completely with Elder Marta. Sorry?
I said that was a wonderful presentation. Yes, and I think I learned something there which I need to present now. A whole lot of things are fighting for attention. And he mentioned a few of them, which I just want to pick one or two. He said money and culture. Yes, and once those things are not in place, peace will be threatened. The peace of the land, the peace of the people, the peace of the nation, even peace generally will be threatened. Thank you so much, Elder Mato, for that presentation. We greatly appreciate that.
Yes,
Over to you, Lucia.
No, it's Regina.
Oh God, I'm there. So starting, I agree, of course, with everything, which Elder Martel said. Without money, we go nowhere. But most of the times, it's not only the money. It must be used in good. Let me. Oh God, it's very difficult for me now to express me in English because I didn't prepare me for that. But okay, I'll try. I'll try. So, for example, I take Angola, and that is the situation of Nigeria. I think very rich countries with oil, so this dark gold for everybody, diamonds, okay, many resources, and most of the time, where is the money? In the hands of
Few.
2 or 3 families, and they most of the time the money which comes from organizations which want to help and so on go to these hands again, and the peoples of these nations. So the people go on suffering. They are hungry. They are ill, so sick. They die everywhere with diseases and so on. They don't have the dignity, the minimum for the dignity. So, okay, first, education. I mean, most of the peoples who are in need, in this very, very, very high need in the world, the people are not educated. And educated, I don't mean they don't have manners. No, I don't. They have no knowledge. That is the harm. So, and they are manipulated all the time. And we live in a world with interdependence, with this globalization, that of course originate more conflicts, because interdependence originate conflicts, and the people in the world, so the persons with this rapid communication, with these technologies, most of the time are manipulated because they don't have the enough level of education. And money for education, I mean knowledge, so schools, artists giving their feedback for the society. This is the reason why peace starts with I and you. So personally, to be multiplicated in small nuclear multiplicators, I mean cultural associations and so on. Of course, the executive power, so the governments have the power to facilitate, let's say I got it. I don't have the words to be this to be easier, to make this easier. I mean, when the corruption is not so high, okay, the balance between powers, which can facilitate to make this easier to the education to come to everybody. see what happens in most of the countries in Africa, within rich countries, and these poor children. Let's see how they go to school, in what conditions. Most of them don't have the possibility to that. And of course, as a teacher and more as someone who writes poetry or fiction like me, the word is my arm, my power. I don't have another one. When I was teaching, now I don't teach anymore. But when I was in the school, so what did I do? I tried to pick up texts, because it was the word, to make projects within the school, within the classes, and within the community, with the parents of my students, and then with the cultural associations linked to the school. So this is the multiplication of differences to give this that my students have in mind from okay, they were not so, it was secondary level and university level, but with the words, with the texts which show the differences, to educate for respect, for tolerance, for development of mind, to be open-minded, to look inside, so that you can to respect you as a human being, than to have the mirror to the other one. So the one who is in front of you is so. I'm sorry, because in English it's not so easy for me now to explain what I would like to. So I had here, as I said, some texts, because one of them, for example, is from Mia Couto, this very well-known Mozambican poet from Mozambique, a writer, very worldwide known, and it says now, so in short words, because if I read it in Portuguese, Joseph doesn't understand it. I'm sorry. So I'm reading. No início já havia tudo, mas Deus era cego, e perante tanto tudo, o que ele viu foi o nada. Deus tocou a água e acreditou ter criado o oceano. Tocou o chão e pensou que a terra nascia sob os seus pés. E quando a si mesmo se tocou, ele se achou o centro do universo e se julgou divino. Estava criado o homem. So this idea that the human being shows him as God. He can everything over the other ones, over the universe. And okay, he can it, but if so, for the good and for the bad, of course. So education first of all, and word is a very powerful arm for me.
Okay, I should not give my opinion exactly, just moderate, but I agree, obvious, as education, it's a very important item for peace, but peace start, I don't think peace start education, but peace start with justice. And if education comes from the justice, because a country that has no justice, that give more for who has more, like here where I live, where my country is. Why you don't have public education everywhere and public good quality education all over the world? This helps. This only you have this when you have justice. And justice is something that you need fight for. Because peace don't come. It's not like a virus that it's like like the coronavirus. No, it's something that you need work, that you need fight for justice. Because you human beings, you are not in our inner, you are not exactly a fair person, justice person. No, no, this is a work, internal work to be better. Every day, you need to work every day, every day, every day, every day. Because when you're born, yes, you're born very, very innocent, but not exact. Innocent, it's not means good. No. So it must be education. No?
Yeah, but education can give you the devices to build this authentic bridge between theory and practice.
So
I mean
to finish my what I'm saying. So if you have justice, if you have school for everybody, quality education for everybody, health, hospital, doctor, you have a way to make people less unequal.
yeah.
Corruption also,
justice.
it's corruption also. It's a thing of education, because you are educated for to have more, and more and more, not to be to share, no, not to be just, not to be fair. So if I have two shoes, oh, but just two, but I need to have one green shoes. I don't have a green shoes. The other is bare foot, don't have none. This it's not equality. It's not good. So the first thing for I think for peace, it's justice, and justice means everybody had not same treat. For instance, someone that a child cannot be treated as an adult, so you need to make difference of treatment among people, but not make just school for rich, best hospital, best surgery, best this for the rich. No, this it's not. Don't goes to peace. This goes to war, because people fight for territory, for food, territory. This is make war, or for petrol, like here. And because you don't have justice, I mean, all the richness of the planet, very well distributed, equally distributed, you don't need to have a war if everything is distributed, because the nature have everything for us. But if some control this, there are no equality, there are no justice, and this make war. So I think the root of the peace is the justice. And then you have education, just comes from this also. Because if you are a country like my country, and like I see here, that someone can pay $2,000 a month to have a good school for your children, and the other cannot even go to school because they have no shoes to go to school, or they have not food to feed, to go to school, to watch a class. This is not justice. And this creates animosity, creates angry, and creates hate. So because this, I think the justice, it's the beginning, not all, but the beginning. Because if I can pay for me $200 like dinner, and the other has nothing to eat, it's difficult to understand. It's difficult to find peace. I can't see peace.
I agree with you both, but when I was talking about education, I wouldn't. I didn't meant only knowledge, because only knowledge it's reductive. It will be a small part of it. Knowledge is important because I can't access justice if I don't know how to read. I can't access. I can't know my rights if I don't know how to read. I can be scammed by almost everyone if I don't know how to count, how to get information, how to. It's impossible. But I think of education a lot broader than to acculturate someone. Because when we pay $2,000 or $200 or $300, and we are put in a school that it's not thriving our thinking, but it's limiting our thinking. It's putting us on a road, not opening ideas, not opening minds. I think that it will have the opposite effect. It will augment difference, not make us together. And when I talk about education, it's in that broader side, and making people think, making people want to know, want to get to know the other one, get to know the other cultures, get to know why one culture praises one thing and the other culture praises another thing, and that they both could be right, and at the same time they can live together respecting the differences. When we make schools monocultural, it's because of money, because of religion or other things, we have the tendencies to override that principle of diversity, and that also makes me thinking that if that is the right way. Justice is all of that, and I agree with you. But there is something in biology. We praise one thing, that is biodiversity. And biodiversity is praising what's different, but what is common. Every species has its own biodiversity. Every ecosystem has its own biodiversity, and they are all diverse, and diversity is what makes biology great. The system only works when we are diverse, and peace will only work if we respect that biodiversity, if we praise that diversity among ourselves. And it's true, we are anthropocentric. We look to nature in our point of view, and we work to each other in our point of view. When I talk about education, it's to decenter our way of thinking, not to look at me as everyone should be like me, but to look at others and see, this is good. I love this in this culture. I love that in that culture. I love that in that culture, not what make us apart, but what make us together. Okay? And this starts at very young ages. We have to teach children to do that. To when a children picks a toy and says, this is mine, and I will not share it with you. When we make them think about that, and to see that if he shares that toy with other, it will be much joyful. We are making education to peace. Okay, and that's what I think about education. Not education only reading and writing and counting, and it's important because it's a tool, but education as a means to open minds, to read books, to know cultures, to read Miyakoto and understand it's where Mozambique is in his writings, where Fernando Pessoa is, where Portugal is there. That's what I think about it. And that's why I read books, because I love to see how the cultures are in it. And I think when we do that, peace will be closer, will be easier. When everyone that wants to exploit Nigeria, that wants to exploit Angola, that wants to exploit any other of the other countries will do, is to exploit differences. Okay? and divide to reign, yes, to be a king. And exploiting those differences is always the mean to get access to those resources that are limited and that all of us want them. Okay, that's why I talk about money. The money is needed, but the money is also the beginning of many wars, the first cause of many wars, because someone will exploit the differences to get access to money. Okay, and when we get knowledge, when we understand this, it's easier to make all of the people over there getting that. I work with exploited children, and most of them didn't knew they were exploited. They wouldn't even imagine. They just assumed that life was that. And that's where education starts. That's where education enters. That's where education should open the minds and should make them embrace that the world isn't only their local place. Okay. I always remember that I was in a social buildings in Lisbon. It was called Bairro of Boa Vista. I don't know if Regina knows. It's near IKEA. I worked there for a long time.
In Setúbal?
No. That's the Bela Vista, Boa Vista.
Where is
near
it?
Near the Pinamanique Stadium.
Oh, I see. Okay. In Lisbon.
In Lisbon,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a small community that's like a village inside Lisbon, and that is trapped between a big traffic artery and one of the biggest parks of Lisbon.
Mm-hmm.
And when I discovered that some of the students didn't know what the sea was, and they are 15 kilometers from the sea, I was amazed because I didn't knew it was possible. Okay, as a teacher, I didn't knew that in Portugal 10 years ago it was possible for someone didn't go to school and the system couldn't know it. Okay, and we need to get to those children. We need to make them citizens. We need to make them think, and then we'll have people to construct peace and to seek for justice, to seek for the end of corruption, to seek for all those things. And just for finishing, I think education and justice will only work if we have thought, if we think outside the box, if we get outside the box and go and want to go. And I love Cape Verde for one reason. Probably it's the poorest of the countries that Portuguese have colonized.
Yeah.
But they were intelligent enough to not have war. And although they are the poorest of the countries in geology, in resources, they could spend their money with arrows probably, but they could spend their money to achieve some development that in other Portuguese ancient colonies couldn't do with lots and lots of more resources than them. And that's why I love peace, because peace pays itself. Peace brings money to the people, peace brings justice to the people, but it's an ongoing process. I hope that with time, they will also show that peace will make them a great nation. Okay? Sorry for my
this moment that you are talking, I was looking here. I have a site where I can see how many dollars the United States spend at every minute with the war.
Yes.
It's all the time, all the time. It's like don't stop. And when you are talking, United States just spend $150 million in the time that exactly the time that we are talking, because it's when I put to work. And it's the budget for the education in the United States.
Yes. Imagine that spent on education, even in the United States.
Here, the education
Should we have people
bad.
believing that the earth is flat if that money was spent in education? Should we have people if we had that money in education, do we had people thinking that a disease is something that it's political, or that
but I think the education of education, it's a project of the rich countries. It's a project, like a plan, not give education. It's a plan, because more people, ignorant people, more I can control people.
Yes,
all of it.
That's
I see here it's amazing. I live here 18 years, and the budget of education is going down every year, down. I'm talking about the formal education, to study English, mathematics, this kind of thing. Besides this, the personal education, I mean the formation, the personality, it's one of the worst. The people here, the children here, they have an education to not respect, make all what they want to make, no values and no respect, nothing. And one thing that I watched this here in my house, because it's the son-in-law of my daughter. The boy said this time he was about 19 years old. He said, I go to the Navy because I want to help the war. I asked him, do you know that in the war you can die? I put a question very simple for him to react. Said, no, I'm American.
Yes.
I
Again,
said,
anthropocentric,
what
even
kind of education this boy has? No, I am American. I will not die. I'm immortal. Almost, I complete the speech. No? I said, yeah, but we can die. You know how many Americans died in Vietnam? 50,000 too. Oh, like they don't have this kind of education,
Yes.
So for them, war, not war, I will not die. I will not. So the death is a shock when they die. It's a shock.
That's the kind of education I was talking about, to open minds, not to close them. And education can be used for both things. Can be used to open minds and to close them. Okay, and we have to be vigilant that education is not used to close minds, but to open them. It's like books.
Yeah, but
it's like everything, culture. Okay.
It's amazing. It's really for the kind of education, because what I see, you are talking about the journalists before. You said it's the most important profession. It depends. The journalism today, like the exercise of the journalism today, how they use the journalism today, it's not to make you free for information. No, it's exactly the opposite. It's to exercise the power, the control, and all. The journalism today in the world, it's not only here or there or there or there or there. It's to maintain the status quo. If you are a fascist, if you have a fascist state, you maintain the fascist state.
I think
like you have in Brazil.
I think in all the history, journalism was intended to be used like this.
You have exceptions, but I mean,
no, journalism was intended to be used like this every time when the power was in power. Okay, but I said journalism for me, it's very, very important, because
it is.
It can question. It can go where nobody wants to look. it can go ask all those questions that nobody wants them to ask, especially when you're in power. Okay, and to have a critical mind, to be an advocate of the things that that are the mainstream, it's always good, even though if I don't agree with it.
You back to this because the social media.
Yes.
But the old journalism, I mean the traditional journalism, is not this anymore. It's just to maintain the status quo.
Status quo, yeah.
Yeah? But the new journalism that is growing now with the social media is totally different.
Yes.
It's the old journalism, but with more people read. I see because I retired a long time ago, because I'm 72, so I retired at 60. But I still writing. Sometimes some newspaper ask me to write about the moment, political moment, and I write. I have more people that read me on social media, like 1,000, than people that read the newspaper. So in social media, you have more freedom. What I write in my page, what I want to write. I don't depend on a boss, nothing. It's me and my conception of word. Okay, and I have more people reading than a newspaper. Because this, you need to have a lot of responsibility in social media. It's because this.
I think one of the main flaws of journalism in general, I don't like to generalize, but now I will use it, sorry. But in general is to focus on the urgent, not in what's important. The news are almost every day about what is urgent. And usually they are not about what's important. Okay, we are looking to the espuma,
the
surface.
The surface, not in
yes, exactly.
in depth in that. Okay, and I think it also in peace we should not look to the urgent, but should look to the important. Okay, of course it is important.
It's epidermic journalism. So,
yes.
That I call epidermic journalism.
Yes, yes,
yes. Very well known.
I think usually when we think about peace, we think about how to stop a war, and usually we don't think why the war started, what's the causes, why it's there, how we can bring those people together, what make it go apart, and only when we understand it, the whole system, we can stop war. And peace is achieved not, in my point of view, not to look to what is urgent, but to what is important to stop it. When we have war, we have lots of people without food. Usually we spend our money to get food to those people. I agree with it. They must be kept alive, okay? But we must not be centered only in that. We have to also have means to go to the other things, to ask people, why are you in it? And they must not only be afraid of dying, but they must question themselves, why? Why am I at war? Why am I at war with the other? Okay, and that's the thing I miss the most when talking about peace. Why are we making war? Why can't we understand each other? Okay, and usually it's about the differences, not about with common. And the difference are the epidermic part of that. Okay, and below there are wounds that must be with time solved, and probably not in 1 generation, not in 2 generations, not in 3 generations, okay? In Portugal, we had wars with Spain. We live together now without problem, but always is there that old ghost that about those wars, about that make a little country be afraid of a bigger country in all kinds of territory and people and so on. That's the thing we should exploit, not to divide, but to make together, to put together. That's why I love about peace. Peace is getting people together, getting people with each other, people that are different and that accept their differences, but that should be together.
Joseph, what do you think about what
I'm saying hello to this nice child with there. Is your son, Joseph?
3 years?
No.
Ah.
His children are 3 years. So, Joseph, did you hear what Professor Elder said? What do you think? How you build the peace? You have
Give me a minute.
microphone.
I'll be with you in a minute.
Huh?
I'll be with you in a minute. Give me a minute.
Okay.
I didn't understand what he said.
He will be back in a minute.
Oh, okay. So, I think the big problem that it's the to have control words, to have control of others or land.
Tinha pensamento de Mahatma Gandhi.
I don't like him so much.
Ok, but como
Sorry.
seres humanos, mas este pensamento, ok, you can like or not, enjoy or not.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't appreciate so much too. But I think this is very important. Okay, as a person who deals with word, because I taught languages, and literature. So this is in this level I am here. I'm not a theoretic, I'm not an academic, I'm not a journalist, but to teach people, young people, adolescents, and so on, we deal with words, with texts.
What Mahatma Gandhi
said once he said, okay, I'm reading in Portuguese because como seres humanos, a nossa grandeza reside não tanto em sermos capazes de refazer o mundo, mas em sermos capazes de nos refazermos a nós próprios. So, not to, as human beings, not so important in the way you rebuild the world, but in the way you rebuild yourself. That was the level I thought about. I said about the main vector. It is education in rebuilding ourselves. Of course, not this education meaning the formal mathematics, Portuguese, English, the knowledge, the formal scholar knowledge. No, education with these principles, rebuilding yourself. Looking at the differences, of course you need bread to eat first. You need something to wear on. God.
Basic needs.
Okay. Then you need a house, a minimum habitation, a dignity to live in. So housing, eating, then how do you say health? And then, social justice. If you don't have, of course, this balance at first, social justice in a community, in a country, you never get peace. So Luzia is right. Look at Brazil, look at every country in Africa and so on. It must be, okay, it is rich, but don't have enough eating, housing, health for everybody. This is the basic principles to build a society. And but okay, I was as someone who writes something, poetry or fiction, so we must, or every artist, everybody must be not sleeping all the time, has the eyes open, and of course being open-minded to look at what happens. No? And so, for example, what is my suffering today is what is happening in the north of Mozambique, in Cabo Delgado, for example, this violence. Not only there, but okay, the refugees crisis all over the world. This is a cancer now in society. So writing about what? About these things too. I have a poem in this book, Conjugação de Mapas, about this problematic of refugees. So we have many cancers all over the world to heal. And of course, everybody, the journalists, Luzia was talking about this problematic of journalism nowadays. So we didn't have, mankind never had so much information, but the word is dying because it's too much information, but it is spam most of the time. It's not, it's manipulation.
Just a moment. I don't think that the word is dying because of the information. I think there are a lot of more important things.
When I mean word, it is something else metaphorically.
Au contraire.
It's a metaphor.
If you don't have information, you don't know that the word is dying.
No, but this word, which I mean from word, it is in a perspective of a metaphor. So the word for as a bridge among people.
The land is the planet is dying. It's true, you are right, but
of course,
not dying because of information. It's au contraire. It's the information inform you that you are going to disaster.
So I'm speaking as a writer. So for me, the words have hidden meanings, and of course, when I say the word is dying, it is a metaphor for the planet, for the lack of communication among people, because we have all virtual things, but we are alone.
Can I bring biology again?
Biology is very important there. So this ethic towards the planet and so on.
For one thing, you talk about cancer, and when you talk about cancer, I was imagining a cancer in the biological term.
I lived it with my husband here every day for 4 years.
Sorry for picking it, but
yeah, I know very well, very close,
well. Okay.
And it is very recently now.
A cancer is always a lack of communication between some cells and the rest of the body.
Yeah,
and those cells start to thrive and start to get all the resources from our body to themselves and multiply themselves to a point that the body stops to work. Okay. And this to me seems like war, when some group of people want all the resources for themselves, they usually do the same. Okay. And that's what I was thinking about. It's that. And a little back ago, we thought that, we talked about bread and so on, and one of my favorite psychologists in education, not all of it, but some part of it, is Maslow. That is, it's famous by its pyramid that in the base as the basic needs, and that says that no student learn without their basic needs fulfilled. I can't teach a child that it's in anger. I can't teach a child that it's thirsty. I can't teach a child that wants to go to the bathroom, and so on. And when I think about it, I think also about war. We can't have peace without the basic needs fulfilled. It's basic. When I think about Second World War, one of the things that that I question the most is it's the why so many people were convinced to go to war without thinking.
Populism.
Okay.
This is the danger nowadays, the populisms.
Yes.
Populism.
But why?
Masses.
It all began without
The art of manipulation.
Yes, the art of manipulation.
The art of manipulation.
The art of not thinking. The art of not thinking.
Yeah.
Of getting a school that closes minds, not that open minds.
Yeah.
That brings the difference bigger than they are, but not go to what we are as people, okay, at what we are as human, okay. And that's one of the things that amazes me the most, is how we could do it for so long and so many people involved. And I don't have an answer. The only answer I have is
a country of artists and philosophers and so intellectual development, right?
Yes, a country that it was educated, that has great musicians,
ganancy, corruption of mind, and so on. That's the danger nowadays of going back to these times. I think I had a very, very nice poem. I'm so sorry that it is not in Portuguese, from Sofia de Melbreiner, which is called A Paz Sem Vencedor e Sem Vencidos.
Impossible.
A very, okay, it's utopia. So we are all fighting with utopic devices, but without utopia, we don't get nowhere too. I think maybe I'm an utopic person, but okay, I see what happens. But we have always a kind of utopic, so I mean the poets, of course, but they are also necessary to this, most of the time, so dark world in this manipulating minds and so on. And it is very, very nice because it is a kind of oração. How do you say
prayer? Prayer.
It is a kind of pray, this poem, because it starts with, "Give us, Lord, the peace we call for, the peace without winners and without the one who losers, without losers, without winners and without losers." I mean, this balance among people, it is a kind of prayer. It's very, very, very nice. Dai-nos, Senhor, a paz que vos pedimos, a paz sem vencedor e sem vencidos. Que o tempo que nos deste seja um novo recomeço de esperança e de justiça. E de justiça, cá está. Dai-nos, Senhor, a paz que vos pedimos. Erguei o nosso ser à transparência para podermos ter melhor a vida, para entendermos vosso mandamento, para que venha a nós o vosso reino. Dai-nos, Senhor, a paz que vos pedimos. Fazei que a paz seja de todos. Dai-nos a paz que nasce da verdade. Dai-nos a paz que nasce da justiça. Dai-nos a paz chamada liberdade. Dai-nos, Senhor, a paz que vos pedimos, sem vencedor e sem vencidos. So, justice, truth, freedom, the three pillars for this poem, and it was very nice to be among you. And I'm sad I couldn't express what I would like to, but okay, I'm there, so we can talk other times. It's
Look,
it was my first time, but you know, it's
good.
not so bad.
You should have the email from each other, no? To not stop.
Yeah, I would like to.
Yes,
So,
I would like.
in
We can
this
check on the
messenger,
group.
blah blah blah, we
Yeah.
can send you our emails.
Yes, what to write, because
To keep
I
in
see that everybody.
contact.
Joseph, it's very quiet. It's like a savior, like this guy. Like
He's already tired.
the big shaman that you look.
Yeah.
Sing, but
Joseph is tired of listening to so many people, so many days.
It's very, very interesting. And you know what? If we try to continue, we might not live here today. So on this note, I would like us to round up, and let's just say a final word from each quarters, and let's round up so that we can continue on the forum. Is that okay?
Mm?
okay,
Yeah.
just one thing. Put your mail in the
In this messenger, blah blah blah.
yes, the message. Put your mail. I put in the message of the group. For the,
Okay.
you
Okay,
put
I'm gonna drop my mail in the group.
because one thing I like very much everything that you talk, and him he don't talk too much, but I'm sure that he write.
Okay.
I write a lot and I talk a lot.
It's very good.
If someone asks me how you talk a lot, yes, I'm paid for this. It's my profession. Journalist is paid to talk. But I would like to have your mails, and I would like to have your poems.
I put everything, my mail, my phone number, my WhatsApp number, everything, including my website. I'll put it out, everything.
Exactly.
I'm
if you have a blog, something,
yes,
you have a blog,
Regina. Yeah, I have a blog. I have an online radio too. Don't worry, we're going to talk some more. At the end of the show, we're going to talk some more. We'll continue in the group. It's nice having you all. On behalf
I'm very active. I'm very active on Facebook. I make my political militants on Facebook, and it's for human rights, against the destruction of the nature, because this you have a big problem right now. You have 90,000 hectares of land in the Pantanal.
Lost by fire.
At this moment, it's burning.
It's on fire, that's right.
It's terrible.
Awful.
I work with this since 1971, and I see day by day the destruction of this.
My God.
So it's a little, besides the problem that the planet is going down, I have my personal problem that it's my fight. I fight.
That's another war, the war that we are facing.
So, but I would like to have, and you should have a blog with your poems, just you write, because blog it's a way that it's accessible for more people, and you can put your blog on Facebook. I put some things that I write. That's things that I should. That are some things that I teaching people for something. I put on Facebook. Otherwise, I just put things that is to pass, like journalism. I just leave in Facebook, never on blog. But you have put. I like one of the poems that you talk. That I think it was yours, the first one.
It's
And
okay.
you should put on Facebook. I would like to have, you know. I like.
No problem.
I have archive on internet with all the poems that it's not in books, that it's not there. Besides my favorite poet is Portuguese, actually,
Okay, great,
from
great,
Espanca.
great. Before we round up,
Thank you.
I'd like to talk with I think we have someone in the room on the call, Anna Vendramini. Can you hear us?
But I tried to contact her, but she's not coming. I think
Hello?
she's here. There was someone that called Gandhi.
Yes, Magni Gandhi came
Gandhi,
in
sim.
and
Yeah,
left.
and is gone, and
It's
Vendramini
gone. I
has
think
no
we have
sound.
Anna Vendramini now. Can you hear us? Hello?
No, she has no sound.
Okay, she has no sound. Okay.
No,
Okay,
she
fine.
has no sound.
Okay. On this
I'm
note,
looking here all the time who commented
okay,
and
no
left.
problem. Okay. On this note, I would like us to round up the show. Once again, I'd like to appreciate every one of us that was present for this webinar to honor the invitation of our Honorable Ambassador Janice da Silva for putting up this program. Thank you so much for coming.
She's my sister.
Okay,
We
great.
call each other sisters
I call
because
her my daughter.
of this bridge,
calls me
Portugal,
nephew.
Angola, Cabo Verde.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much for you adding something to what our world needs to hear as regards peace building when it comes to making our world a peaceful place. Thank you so much. On this note, I say thank you, and thank you. And the show ends this week. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Obrigada.
Thank you.
Obrigada.
And thank you because
the communication and networking. Let's keep it continued.
Yeah.
Let's
thank
continue
you
on
for
the
you. I like
yeah.
to meet people. Thank you. I just want your email.
Beijinho, Luzia.
Because who knows that someday I go
Beijinho,
to
Elder.
Lagos.
Tchau.
Tchau, beijinhos.
Tchau,
Beijinho,
tchau,
tchau.
obrigada. Tchau.
Muito gosto.
Obrigada, tchau. Também.
Oh, e-mail.
Tá bem.
Everybody.
Ok.